All right. Hey, everybody. We're going to wait till a few people jump on here. Uh, I'm supposed to be accompanied by Mr. Zach Sterrick. However, he may be running a little late, which is no big deal. So, for those who get to watch this in the future, um, if we don't get a large turnout, that's okay. We're going to keep this short and sweet, if anything else. So, meanwhile, I'm going to wait till a few people jump on here. If we don't get a large turnout. All right. I see we got somebody watching. I will be on the. Zach's trying to get on right now, so everybody sit tight. Yeah, Yowie, I've seen that. I noticed that. I noticed that earlier when I was checking everything out. Uh, I got, keep in mind, I have a lot of haters. I have no reason why, there's no reason why they should be hating on me, but there's a lot of people ignorant that have hate for various reasons. So, but yeah, I know I had a dislike even before the show even started. So, but if you appreciate these shows, if you appreciate what we share, what we discuss, give us a like, share this link around. Meanwhile, you guys sit tight and bear with me. I'm watching the live chat right now, which I see Yowie down under is on the live chat. Uh, Let me go see what Zach's up to. I think he needs to get. I need to send him the email invite instead of the direct link inside. Yep. All right. We're gonna get Zach in here very shortly. All right. Okay, I just sent Zach the invite through his link. If anyone wants, I've had people that want to join in on these live shows all the time, that's totally fine. It's always great. We get into discussions based off of how you guys interact with us. A lot of people like these shows because they get answers, they get their questions answers to the best of our ability. We're not experts, so. And I think Zach just joined us. Zach, are you there?
Yeah, can you see me?
I don't see you, but I hear you loud and clear, though.
Let's see. Hold on. I don't know. There I am.
Ah, yeah, I see you now. Hey, check this out. One of the people that one of the viewers. Yeah, we got a viewer on here, and there's one thing he pointed out. I've noticed probably about a half hour ago when I was checking on things. He says, "Cranky." He says that's a bit rich. He said a dislike before it's even started. He said he said that's like a stab in the back. So yeah, and that's from Yowie down under. So, but yeah, like I was telling him, I said, we all have haters. I know I have haters, but I don't understand why somebody would dislike something before they even viewed it because we weren't even live till just now. So, but but yeah, we have a few viewers on here, and I am watching the live chat. If you guys are new to watching this and you want to interact on the live chat, if you're on your phone, the live chat is directly straight down below where you're viewing us right now. If you are on your laptop, desktop, the live chat is directly on the top right hand corner. So check that out. We would love your interaction. I figured we'd do a live podcast show tonight because here we are. We're in the month of March. March is a special month for many of us in different ways. One thing is we're getting closer into spring. The other thing is our events. A lot of the Bigfoot events are right around the corner. One of my sponsors for the ECBRO first annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference, which is taking place June 30th and July 1st. One of excuse me, he's not a sponsor, but one of our speakers, who will be doing a movie premiere, Mr. Bill Lancaster of Bilco Productions. He will be doing a movie premiere in Norton, Virginia on March 17th. Again, that is down in Norton, Virginia, March 17th. He'll be doing a movie premiere of his new documentary, Cultured Bigfoot. So if you get around, if you live near Norton or you want to travel, come check out the movie premiere. of culture of Bigfoot. Bill Lancaster will also be premiering that movie June 30th and July 1st at the Augusta Expo in Fishersville, Virginia, at the ECBRO, First Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference. If you want more information regarding that event, you can go to Facebook. The event page is on Facebook. You could do a search, a Google search on that as well. It's the ECBRO, First Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference. Again, get all your information. Tickets are available right now. Share the information, spread the word. That's going to be a very big event. We got some massive advertising going on right now. I just started doing the public advertising, and we're expecting a huge turnout. We've already had 100 plus tickets sold already. Just from doing online advertising, tickets are looking really good right now. Hey, I see we have Mr. Bobcat Wong on the live chat. How you doing, Mr. Bobcat Wong? Um, other events coming up here in the near future. Let's back up a little bit here. Let's see. Here in the state of Virginia, for those who may not be aware, we have the Maple Fest that goes on every year. March 10th starts the first weekend of the Maple Fest. March 10th and the 11th, and then again it'll proceed to the following weekend. And so that's a big event that takes place every year in Highland County, Virginia. It's a very huge event. Of course, everything there, all the food samples, everything that's sold, and it's all maple related. It's awesome. All kinds of vendors. I've actually picked up some of my vendors from there last year because I've been planning this event out for quite a while. This is our first annual event, so so I've been doing a lot of planning on this, and it's been paying off. So it's looking real well. So yeah, if you want to come take a visit, check out the beautiful countryside in Western Virginia. Here we have the Highland County Maple Fest. Again, that starts on the 10th. Oh yeah, just a few more days. March 7th, I'll be on She Squatchers Radio, which is known. Their radio show is called The Journey Radio Show. I'll be their featured guest on there. So if you have any questions, you can interact through their live chat on The Journey Radio. If you have questions for me, if you want to get to know me, I'll be glad to spill the beans. So awesome. One of my new subscribers, also Miss Christy Abbott. Miss Christy Abbott, she's on the live chat with us. She said, "Hi, this is my first time on your live chat." Christy, it is great to have you, and thank you for subscribing. Our subscribers here on YouTube are actually growing, so that's looking awesome. We've come a long ways with our YouTube shows and our, what we've been doing. So yeah, for those who are just viewing, or those who will view later, our YouTube shows, we do these periodically. However, if you browse through the archive videos, there's a lot of field videos, a lot of miscellaneous shows. I even have some of the radio shows from our radio program uploaded on here from Squatch Zone Radio. Oh yeah, one more other event I do want to plug in because very shortly I'm going to turn this over to Zach here very shortly. I got a couple questions for him. In the month of April, for the Kentucky residents of those who live around surrounding areas, April 21st in Harlan, Kentucky, the Harlan, Kentucky CryptoCon is taking place April 21st. If you want to come on down there, it's another Bigfoot conference. It's called the Harlan, Kentucky CryptoCon, April 21st. The address for that location is 110 River Street at the Extension Depot. That is 110 River Street at the Extension Depot in Harlan, Kentucky. So that is hosted and organized by Mr. Jimmy Blanton. So it's actually a very well put together, event. So come on down there, check that out. Bilko Productions will be there as well, along with several other guests, me included, which is a great honor to be a part of that. So now with all those public announcements out of the way, first of all, I want to ask you, Zach, how's it been going? I know you've been a busy man, man. What's going on with you?
Busy. messed up my knee today. We was up in a loft over a attorney at law office, and we was up a flight of 18 stairs, letting 200-pound bins full of paper down today, and we was using a rope, one of my ropes I camp with, as a safety rope to let them down the stairs. And I put my leg up on the step to brace myself to catch the barrels that come down, and that barrel come down and spiked me right on top of my knee.
Wow, man.
My knee's been swelling all day.
So you've been trying to stay off of that, try to take it
Oh no,
easier.
we got off work. I went straight to baseball practice and I ran them boys.
Wow. Just let you know, Bobcat Wong is saying hi to you. So,
Hey Bobcat, how you doing, buddy?
um, well, as sorry,
What's
apart
going
from
on?
being busy, how the you been out in the field any?
Yeah, I went out in the field on Monday, and first of all, if anybody's watching that's part of Cryptid CSI, I thank you guys for helping me in the field. You guys fed me information right on the spot when I needed it.
Very
And
awesome.
yeah, and I mean, they were giving me uh, information while I was out there in the field and everything. I had Stacy Coughlin and Jimmy Blanton was helping me. And then I found a couple of breaks that I found. I found one big old tree that was as big around as this cup, which is a medium sized cup from Taco Bell. And that tree was bent clean over and into an arch.
Oh wow. Talk about some strength right there. That sounds, yeah, that's definitely
And
some
that wasn't
strength
the
going
only
on
one
right
I
there.
found in that area. There was another one right next to it, just like it.
Hmm. Now,
And then I went a
just for the
little
viewers,
north,
is a tree? Did the tree seem like it was fairly fresh?
give or take a month or so.
Oh,
It's
okay.
been
Well,
a
yeah,
while.
that
It's been about a month since I'd been in that area, and that month or so since I've been in that area. And that tree was, I remember that tree. It wasn't been over about 2 months ago.
So we got some recent activity going there then, huh?
And then I found a complete arch where two trees come over and they met in the middle and bent over and were pinned under two logs, sort of like a
Nice.
pretzel style.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And
Ah,
I've been reviewing audio on my digital recorder, and I had left my recorder running up on a log, that up on top of a log that was up on the ridge from down in the hollow I was in, and I left it running. I was down in that hollow for about an hour, and I left it running the whole time. And I was down in that hollow, and then about 30 minutes later, whenever I was down in that hollow, there was a long-winded call that let out due south of me about 100 yards that I got on audio.
nice.
And then I get back up to retrieve the recorder 30 minutes later, and I had my camera off, and I shut the recorder off to listen back to the audio. And as soon as I did that, I heard whoop.
Hmm.
So I kicked that recorder back on, and I sat there on the hillside, up sitting down on the ground with my back against a tree. I sat there whooping and hollering for an hour, didn't get no response.
It's funny how that works. I'm going to tell you something. I can't tell you how many times where I've had recorders with me, and either you just turn them off or you go to turn them on because you heard something, and then after you turn them on, you don't get nothing.
Right.
One incident back in 2013, I was camping, and I was camping in my research area, and very, like I said, my area is very active, throughout certain times of the year. Well, this one particular time, I was camping with Fred Canny. Fred Camp, we've done a hike earlier that day. We found some really great stuff, up behind camp, up on the ridge. But that evening, we were sitting around the campfire, and we were just sitting there right in front of where our tents were. We were right in front of our tents, and then we had the fire, fire pit right there going. Here it is, about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. A lot of activity takes place around this time. And this is one thing I've learned and I picked up over the years. Well, Fred Canny he had a real good audio recorder. He actually had a homemade parabolic dish with him. His parabolic dish works awesome. It picks up long range. Now here he is. He had it on top of his Jeep. Now at this particular time, here was me and Fred. We're sitting there. We're kind of talking, on and off, quiet, just sitting there relaxing by the fire. And then from out of nowhere, just on the other side of his Jeep, I mean, we're talking about 20, 30 feet, 40 feet tops, 4 to 5 whoops, really loud, really close to us. Right at one after the other, about 4 or 5 times in a row. And I'm getting up, I'm getting excited. I'm looking at Fred. I said, Fred, are you hearing this? He's like just all chill. He said, yeah, man, I'm used to this. I said, I don't care. This is awesome, man. This is awesome. And then nothing after that. But that's how close it was. About 20, between anywhere from 20 to 40 feet. But it was just on the other side of his Jeep somewhere. I said, I was more excited. Here I am, excited, thinking that we had it on audio. But nope. Guess what? His audio recorder was never turned on.
That sucks.
I know. Here it is sitting on top of his Jeep facing the back of our camp where I'm expecting it to be on because, we were expecting something to happen from back that way, especially if there was something up on the ridge, we would have picked it up. But here we are. We had something right there at camp. Right there. It was watching us. And here it is. Gives off 4 or 5 whoops right there. And yeah, that's when we went to go check it, and it was never turned on. And it never fails. There's other incidents, and I'm not talking about just audio, but we're like the encounter that I shared on numerous occasions when all 6 of us had our encounter in 2014. It was after midnight. We were observing what we were observing. We were seeing what we were seeing. Mainly the eye shine and the silhouette. Well, during that whole situation, after all of that was done, and after we got back to camp, like I shared, like I said, I shared this with you guys plenty of times. The one thing that me and Tracy Arnold, after we got back to base camp, we were so kicking ourselves in the butt because during the whole time of that encounter, me and Tracy both had backpacks. And then in those backpacks, we had night vision where we could have had probably the best visual, where we could have shared more of a description. Not once did we think about pulling our night vision devices out.
Kicking your ass right about then.
Oh, I'm still doing it till this day. Till this day, I was like, you would think you would learn from these situations, but
you never learn from your mistakes, though. None of us do.
Well, the thing is, have you ever noticed not just with what we do, what we experience, but I don't know how many times I've heard this from other Bigfooters. It's just things happen when you're never in the moment. You're caught up in that moment, and the thought of doing something, it just never crosses your mind till it's too late. But there's one thing when I go out in the woods and I plan on being out there for a while. Yeah, I keep my camcorder with me. I keep my phone with me. A lot of times I use my phone. I got my camcorder, whatever. And I'm always documenting things. I videotape things here. But one of these days, I'm gonna have a face-to-face encounter. I don't think it's. I mean, it'll be a miracle to catch it on film unless I'm already recording. Because if I see something, I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna be able to open up the lens and push record. Like I said, I think I'm going to be caught up in that moment.
Well, see, this is whenever I go in the woods, I have 2 recorders with me. One's always running, and then one I'll leave in places while I'm off walking, like on a stump or something. I'll just leave it there. But then I always have this in my hand, my little recorder.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's cheap. It's only 4 power zoom on it, but it's still good. And even whenever I'm even sitting out here in my truck, I have a recorder going. I have one on the roof of the truck running right now.
Wow, that's a good idea.
all these times and everything that I've been on the road and everything, I've had one walk right in front of my truck one time. That's the reason I keep a dash cam in my truck. I always have a camera in the truck with me. I always have a camera in my pocket. I always have a digital recorder going whenever I'm outside. You never know. It's always best to be prepared.
Hmm. Okay, I'm checking the live chat. Yowie down under said, "Hey, oh hey, bud." He said, "Damn, YouTube is not telling me you're live now." I just responded to him. I said, "Yes, I am live." So, but yeah, everybody watching and listening, we are live right now. I mean, here it is. It's March 2nd. It is the second, right? Or is
Yeah,
today the yeah? So it's March 2nd. Right now, it's currently 10:21 p.m. at this time. So we've been live for about approximately 20 minutes. So, uh, yeah, Yowie down under. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, he said he's in Australia. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he might be in a different time zone, which I'm pretty sure that is a different time zone.
they're a day ahead of us.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why. Yeah, he just said that. He just yeah
I got
right there when you said that. I looked at. He just posted. He said it's the third where I'm at, where he's at. So
yeah, my neighbor's sister and her husband and his nieces and nephews, they live in Victoria in Melbourne.
okay, very cool. Yeah, yeah. One of our good friends, a fellow cryptozoologist, young gentleman by the name of Jack Tesser. He's an Australian resident. Um, yeah, yeah. You remember? Wasn't it? No, it wasn't you. It was Shaky who interviewed him. But yeah, Jack Tesser is he's a good guy. Oh, and Yowie down under said it's yeah Saturday morning, dude. He's in Melbourne is 2 hours ahead of him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll
so
throw this out there though. You're never too young to get in this field. It's an ever learning experience. Whenever I started doing research whenever I was 10 years old and started doing field work whenever I turned 18. So
oh yeah,
it's I mean, you're never too young to get in this thing. If you're passionate about it, go for it.
absolutely. But and, it's what I find fascinating. It never ceases to fascinate or amaze me. Anytime we go live, regardless if it's here on YouTube like we're doing now, or on the radio show when we're doing the Squatch on radio, we get listeners from everywhere, which is awesome. And so I want to, I do want to give another personal thank you to all those who view and support our shows and the YouTube channel in general, and then especially of all those who have been subscribing. So this is much appreciated, and I want to thank you guys as well. Um, by the way, I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Zach Sterrick. Zach, how about you tell the viewers and the listeners about your YouTube channel and other locations where they can find your Facebook information and your groups?
Just type my name in on Google, it'll all pop up.
Well, there you go. And his name, for those who don't know, his name is Zach, Zach, Starrick, Starrick. And he is the founder of the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters, also known as Blimp. So I got to
Blimp
ask you
Hunter.
again. I know I've asked you this before. Where did the name Blimp come from again? You told me this before, but I don't remember.
Old nickname I've had. Uh, Started off whenever I was young. I used to tell a bunch of ghost stories and a whole bunch of stories, and I was the storyteller in my for my family on the ghetto side of my family, not ghetto, ghetto,
Okay.
and I was always the storyteller for the family up there. I'd always bring stories to tell the family dinners and stuff like that. And they'd say he's full of hot air and up in the air. And not only that, I was big as a blimp, so it kind of stuck.
ah. Um.
I got several nicknames.
Yeah, I guess you could say I do too in a way.
Back
Um,
whenever my a lot of people don't know this, and I think I told you my legal name is Stam. Steric is my family's name. Stam was the last name I was born with, and after I graduated, I changed my last name to my family name, Steric.
hmm,
But Stamm was my old last name before I had it changed legally.
yeah.
And I mean, I had so many nicknames. People used to call me the Staminator. Whenever I played baseball, they called me Stammy Sosa, Stam the Man.
uh, Sammy Sosa. I don't think no one can compare to him. He was one of the best ones out there. Who was
I
it?
was one
Sammy.
of the best hitters on the baseball team. That's why I couldn't
uh,
run worth a shit, but I could knock the piss out of that ball.
I want to share real quick. One of the things this is a side project I've always done for myself, and I've kind of put it off a while, but I recently had picked it back up. Um, but one of the things I started doing is printing out some of my pictures. It's kind of like a research scrapbook idea. I don't know how many people get into scrapbooking. When you hear scrapbooking, you think, okay, it's something a woman does. To me, this is something. It's part of collecting my evidence, not just documenting it and just filing it online. But I keep a portfolio, and I just started doing. I got a few pictures I posted, just of some findings. A couple of these, what I'm about to show. These are some of my right in from my main research area. These are a couple interesting structure formations, and then I got one of my foot tracks. I came over there on the border of West Virginia in another area I've been investigating. But this one here, I don't know how well you're going to see this when I flip this picture around. I don't know how well the viewers are going to see this, but this is one of my structures. It's not far from my main camp area. This is the area up behind where me and Fred got whooped at. But it's always fascinated me. I love this structure, and I don't know how well you can see this. There may be a
Oh
gloss.
my God.
Yeah, this is from my main research area. That's up behind where me and Fred got whooped at right there. Yeah, and there's been other activity in this area, but this is one of the. If you go through my photos on my timeline on Facebook, you'll see this photo. So, but that's just one of them right there. Part of the reason I got back into printing these out because I got a brand new printer right here next to my desk. I got my own little nice little setup here, my new little office space here. Now this other one here, this may not be nothing, but however, I find it's very fascinating as well. This is exactly how I found this. This is a ground structure. This is on the ground, and this may be a natural fall. This may be a coincidence, but I find this very interesting and very fascinating. Right here. Yeah. To
Star
me, I don't
formation,
know.
eh?
Yeah, I have always found certain things like this very interesting.
I
Some
find them in my
people,
area all the time.
yeah, some people call these what glyphs of some sort. That very well may be. However, I believe it could be a form or type of marker, maybe.
I find those things. I usually believe those, and what I find just from observation, that those are navigational points. They
Yeah.
always point north, south, east, west, northeast, southeast, etc.
Well, here is another foot track. Zach, you may recall this. I haven't shared this in a long time. This is one of my best looking foot tracks I've ever. I've ever. I didn't cast this, but this is one of the best ones I've ever come across. This is not in my main research area. This is an area that I've gotten reports from that I've been investigating. I have yet to get back in this area. I have not been in this area in probably almost a year now. But this is almost this particular area. It's in a very remote area, and this borders West Virginia. Um, I've actually received recent reports not far from this area. But this track, even though this is a photo, the track itself was about 18 inches long. It was just about 18 inches. It was almost 17 and a half or so. But this track right here that I'm about to show you
Come
was
on, show
about
me. The suspense is killing me.
Okay. Well, I'm sharing it for the viewers too, but let me see. Is it better if I hold it up this way?
That is nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to get because I see a glare on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me turn it this way. I don't know if that does any justice there because I see the way I'm looking at it, I see a glare on there.
Just
But
on the bottom end of it. Yeah, I can see the toes, the heel.
yeah, so and I'll turn it up this way just for the heck of it. Yeah, but this
Where you
here
find
is
that at?
one of my
Right on
best.
the road.
It's not the best track I found, but this is one of the best. I was very impressed with this finding right here. This I was very impressed.
What's up with
So
the little toe on the end of it though?
what's that?
What's your deduction? What's wrong with the little toe on that thing? That little toe is kind of cockeyed.
Well, it's funny because usually I get that with the big toe going out. It's like you know what? Take a look at the. Notice that it's mud. I'm surprised that the rest of the toes ain't spread out because of the mud. That may have been because when it stepped, it made it splayed out because of the wet mud right there. So usually the
So
big toe, a lot of
it
times in
seems like
mud,
it's late and it bent its foot and it would have spread its toes whenever it
yeah.
took a step, whenever it pulled its foot up.
But right here, here's a big toe right here. Usually, I found a few tracks where the big toe goes stretching out this way. But this big toe is, as you see right here, going straight, and the other toes kind of go like straight. This one here has a slight curve in right here. If you look very carefully, the tip of it looks like it curves in a little bit. Then yeah, of course, the little toe goes out like that. So so, but yeah, all these photos could be found on my timeline. If you browse through, I don't have everything categorized or properly organized, but I have a lot more pictures. I am going to be working on printing out more pictures. A lot of these will be adding into my portfolio. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. But right now, I'm keeping them. I got these folders. I got these simple little folders right here because I got a lot of other information I'm trying to organize and keep together. So,
If you
but
ever need any 3-ring binders, look me up. We get plenty of them at PRB.
don't yeah, trust me, I got all that stuff too. It's just I got stuff everywhere right now. I'm trying to still get organized on a few things, but so but for those who want to check out more pictures, I have pictures of other structures and findings. You know, of several different tracks. They're all on Facebook. Um, I don't think I have anything that I have not shared yet. I do, however, have some video footage, miscellaneous stuff I've probably never updated before because I got SD cards everywhere. Oh, um, my little Superman box right here. Oh, there's my earbuds. I've been looking for my earbuds. Yeah, I thought I lost
Don't
them, and
be
I
so
ended up.
bad if you want to see it on.
But yeah, I got all my SD cards. I got crap loads of SD cards. And then I got two trail cameras out in the woods right now. They've been out there going on 3 weeks now that I have yet to pick up. I was supposed to pick them up last weekend, which I have not done so. So, um, let's see. I don't know. Hopefully the wind is not too bad. We've been experiencing some strong, nasty winds. Um, I was gonna have Fred on tonight, but where Fred's located, he's actually not far from my research area. And where he lives, the power is out over there because they have there's a lot of woods out there, and they're out there. They're close to the mountains, and they must be experiencing the weather, the wind a lot worse than we are here. So, but Fred's, yeah, they've been without power all day pretty much. So, um,
It's warm. The frogs are chirping here. The terrapins are out. The robins are out. The sky's clear. It's a full moon. Spring is sprung in southern Illinois.
well, for those who are experiencing all the strong winds and the nasty weather, you could thank Zach for rubbing all his nice weather in our faces.
Last week, this last Saturday, whenever it came a flood, we had 8 inches of rain. I was out with a 5525 John Deere pushing about that deep of mud off the road, along with debris from where the creek washed out.
Right.
I mean, it was bad.
Yeah. Yowie Down Under just asked me what state am I in, and yeah, I just replied I am here in Virginia, here on the East Coast of the United States. So, yep, it's a very squatchy state. A lot of people, I do believe, a lot of people underestimate the East Coast so
A
much.
lot of people underestimate Illinois too.
Yeah, well, Zach, we've had one of our past guests that we've had on actually through the radio show, shared some information regarding Illinois. Mr. John Stewart. Do you recall John Stewart? He was one of the
Yeah, I know who you're
WWE
talking about.
wrestlers back in the early 1990s, late 80s into the early 90s.
I know he's running for governor of Illinois.
Yeah, yeah, he's yeah, he's been involved with politics for many years. He's a very nice guy. He's got a beautiful family, so yeah, but he's a very outgoing guy. He's very easy to talk to. Uh, I tell you what, that's somebody you should try to hook up with, and you guys should get together and go do some bigfooting out there. So,
It's hard. He lives 6 hours away.
well, look, that shouldn't be that bad. You're coming up. You're driving 10 hours to come out to my event. So,
Who said I'm the one driving?
well, hey, check this out. You're 6 hours. Tell him to drive to you. He
Yeah, he'll bet
apparently,
on the money.
yeah, exactly. He's financially set. I'm sure 6 hour drive is probably like a 6 minute, drive for him.
6 hours, I can make it in 3 with the hammer down.
So yeah. Oh, Yowie down under is asking, is it cold? At this current time, we've been experiencing some cold weather. We've had what they call part of a northeasterner coming in from pretty much the northwest, coming down, hitting us on the coast. We've been experiencing some heavy, strong winds. Because of the winds, that's where the cold temperatures are coming in. But it seems like it's letting up a little bit. Today wasn't as bad. So hopefully tomorrow won't be as bad. I think it's starting to tamper off because we've been getting spoiled by we've been finally getting nice weather, like 65 to 70 degree weather. And then like I said, this week, the last couple of days, we've been hit with these strong winds. So, but yeah, it's not too bad. As far as it being cold, that's just coming from the wind and what they got coming from up north. But so yeah, so yeah, I want to give a shout out and let everybody know. Give a head. It's more of a heads up. For those who may not be on the live chat, if you're listening, if you're watching, listening, feel free. Don't be shy. Everybody's welcome to interact on the live chat. Any questions you guys have, we love questions. So if you have a question, Bigfoot related question, we'll try to throw it out there. We'll try to respond to it. A lot of it, if it's something we've experienced, if it's something we observed, we'll share our experience with you. If we don't know, we'll share our opinion with you. However, just do keep in mind we're not experts, and we do not claim to be experts at all. However, we enjoy trying to share information with you. And we love getting other people's interaction when they share their opinions or something they may have experienced. Because if somebody shares something with us, it's something that we kind of take note of. We kind of make note. Like I said, we'll take note of it. And who knows what you might experience. Maybe it's something that we have not experienced, and so somewhere down the road, we might experience in what you have. Or if you share something with us, or if we share something with you, maybe, just maybe, you know, what we try to do, we try to find out, are other people finding things that we find, or are we finding things that you find? Vice versa. Sometimes it's good information when we share what we do find. Because because this little bit of information, it's like putting a puzzle together. When it comes to Bigfoot research, we know it's a mystery. Anything cryptid related is a straight up mystery. Uh, we're constantly putting the pieces together. We're trying to mash things up to see if anything makes sense. So yeah, again, if you have questions, feel free. Don't be shy. There's no wrong answer, and there's not a. If you feel like you're going to be stupid by asking a question, don't feel that way. The only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask. So you know, so I just wanted to throw that out there, and I'm sure I speak for both me and Zach. I appreciate everything that's being shared or asked already on the live chat. If you have a question for Zach, please feel free. So I am keeping my eye on the live chat right now. So, um, hmm. Tell you what, let's get Zach to share a little bit of information with us here. Zach, how about you tell the listeners, the viewers, what has been your most scariest moment in the woods?
Which one you want to know?
Well, I'll leave that up to you.
Scariest one has to be April of last year. I got run out whenever I got run out of wood by Bigfoot.
Mm.
I was out. It was coming up. It's coming up on a year now.
Is that the one you
Uh,
had a tree thrown at you?
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead with this one. Yeah.
yeah. I went and for three weeks, and me and Mom had been hearing off over this way, just about a half mile back in that area I always go in where I was at this last Monday. We'd been hearing for 3 weeks. We'd been hearing all kinds of screams and howls coming out of there. And for 3 weeks, it was darn near every single night. And I told Mom, I said, to come the full moon, they're gonna be all up in arms, and I'm gonna go in there after them. So I told her I got my gear together, and I went down in the woods, and I said, I'm going down in there to see what I can find. And she says, okay, be careful. And it was about 9 o'clock at night. And I got down in there and I walked that north to south stretch of the hollow in my research area. Didn't see or hear nothing. It was just quiet. Then I hopped the creek and I went over on the east to west stretch of the hollow. And I sat down on a log to take a breather. And I sat my lantern down and my phone. I put it in my pocket after I made a voice recording of what I was hearing, making a report so that way I could jot it down in my journal that I keep. And I got up and I started talking to myself as I was walking away. And I started hearing speech, like whispers on the wind. And I'm sitting there shaking my head. And I'm like, I'm losing my mind because I'm hearing voices right now. But I heard them up on the hill. I heard two over on the hill on my right, and I heard two up over on my left.
Now,
And it all of a sudden, as soon as I started hearing those voices, everything just went quiet. The frogs in the creek quit chirping. You couldn't hear the rabbits running. You couldn't hear the squirrels in the trees or the birds in the trees. It just was eerily silent. The type of silence I can compare it to is the silence right before a tornado drops. And I'm sitting there paying more attention because I've always been taught that whenever things go silent in the woods, you should be paying more attention.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
And
think a good majority of the time that I can't tell you how many times where everything's gone dead silent, especially at night. That there is a little bit more of an eerie feeling, but you know,
and then right as I was sitting there, I was listening around, I was looking, I heard a big crash. You could hear branches breaking as that tree was on its way down. And you could hear that tree hit that ground. I mean, you could feel the ground rumble when that tree hit the ground. And then I heard something cannonball the creek that's at the base of the hill. And you could hear it sloshing around coming up out of the water. And it was full moon that night, and there was no overcast at all. And I could see a silhouette of a Bigfoot come running up out of that creek and across the meadow that I just come out of, and it was heading towards the creek I just crossed. Because right where I was at, there's I'm going to draw a little air drawing for you. There is the north to south stretch, and there's a creek that runs right along it, and there's a hill on this side, and then there's the east to west stretch, and then there's a creek that runs parallel with the east to west stretch, and it merges with that creek that runs north to south. And it come across the meadow that's in between the two creeks. Well, then I turned around, and I hauled ass, and I do, and like I tell everybody, whenever you're confronted, even with a Sasquatch or anything, you don't run because you'll instigate the chase in them, and they will pull you down because you're basically showing that you can be potential prey.
Yeah, that's kind of
So
like that's good advice because that's the same situation. If you ever encounter a cougar or mountain lion, anyone that's trained or anyone that's experienced, they'll tell you the same thing. Don't ever try to run from them. Try to move
definitely,
slowly. Yeah.
it could even be a 600-pound black bear. You can stare that sucker down.
Oh yeah.
But I turned tail and I ran, and I couldn't make it back to my truck because my truck was parked up on the hill a quarter mile away. So I got on the phone with my mother and I called her and I said, "Get down here and get down here now. I got a Bigfoot on my ass and they're pissed. Get down here now. I'm down here in the draw." So she said, "I'll be right there." And she ran out of the house with my brother, and my brother had a rifle, and she had no shoes on. She just ran out of the house. And while she was coming to get me, I was about 3/4 of a mile down the road. I cleared a chest high, about 5 foot high, barbed wire, 5 strand barbed wire fence. I cleared that in high jumper style, and I landed on the other side, and I got up underneath the road in a culvert, just a regular stone culvert, for where the creek can run through underneath the road and not flood the road. And I got deep in that thing. I got right to the middle of it and I had my knife to my chest, my Bowie knife, and I got as far as I could in there because if they were still after me, they wouldn't, and they tried to reach in there to get me, they wasn't going to get in there because this thing was broad shouldered. Whenever I saw its silhouette, I knew in the back of my mind, with my instincts kicking in, that it wasn't going to be able to reach in that culvert to get me because that culvert is 10 foot long, and I was
Mm,
right at the 5 foot mark inside.
wow.
And I could hear my mom. I could see headlights coming down into the woods, and I could hear my mom stop up on the in the where the creek up of the road is sitting on top of the culvert. She starts laying on the horn, and I come scrambling out the other side, and I scramble up the bank, which is all limestone, and I scrambled up that bank, and I got in the car and I said, "Get my ass out of here!" And she took off, and she dropped me off back at my truck, and I drove my truck home. I floored it to get out of there. I cut ruts coming out of that field where I had my truck parked. And I honestly thought I was going to die that night. I mean, I've never experienced an encounter that aggressive in my life.
Mm, that's crazy. Oh man. Let's see what we got in the live chat. Okay, we got several people in the live chat. They're actually all interacting, saying hi to each other, which is cool. Awesome. But yeah, that's awesome though. Um, So I want to remind everybody while we're still alive right now, if you have any questions you want to ask us, normally when we do these live YouTube shows, usually there's at least a minimum of about four of us on here. Sometimes we have up to 5, 6 people. However, it just was not quite working out. Other people had other prior engagements. Of course, Friday nights, sometimes you never know what to expect on a Friday night. There's a good possibility if things work out, we will go live tomorrow night. Um, there's a lot of people Friday nights is usually busy for a lot of people, which I totally understand. So if you guys are around tomorrow night, we'll probably be live again around the same time, most likely. There's a few things eventually I do want to get into. So here we go. We do have a question that just popped up here on the live chat. Christy Abbott is asking, how far do you think Bigfoot travel?
Oh,
Then
them
he.
suckers will travel.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, no, that's all I had to say. Them suckers will travel.
Oh yeah, I believe so too. Um,
I've heard reports of characteristics of Bigfoot over in West Virginia, and then get the same characteristics out of Bigfoot here in my area.
hmm. Well, after the question, Christy is going on. She mentions she said we have things happen here about every 3 to 4 weeks. Coyotes will howl at this time. I live on a 154-acre farm near Smoky Mountains, so that's very interesting. But yeah, I do agree, especially from my own observations, because there's times a year where certain areas, that I focus on. Now, for those who are new, my main general research area is so large and so vast. I have it broken up in zones. Mainly zone 1 and zone 2 and 3. Now, zone 1 is my primary area of focus. For the very fact that it's not just because that's where I've had encounters at, but this particular area stays highly active with vocalizations, tree knocks. I found some nice, amazing evidence there when it comes to tracks. This particular area, I found a lot of tracks in this area. It tells me that this is a very active area. Now, however, there's certain times of year where it becomes a dead zone. There's nothing. My The reason why I think this because I do believe that they travel and go off into another area, perhaps to higher ground. And one of the things I point out in my particular area, and I know I'm sure this goes along with other people in their areas. Throughout the times of the year, you have a dry season. A lot of the creeks, the rivers, the streams, a lot of these areas in my main area, they dry up. They produce very little bit of water. So think about it. Think about the wildlife. Where are the wildlife going to go? Bears, deer, you know, anything that's got to strive to, that needs to eat to survive, whatever. They're going to be where the food sources are.
That means
Now,
they're going to be coming up close to houses then.
well, that's very possible. That to me that would make sense. However, in these forests, like if you ever got a taste of where I research, you'll realize just how vast and remote the area is. And not only is it, because it connects into other forests that's very vast, it goes into other states. Zone 3 connects to West Virginia. Now, I'm very familiar with a lot of these streams because a lot of the water sources in my area, uh, a great majority of them are spring fed. They're spring fed streams and so forth. So so I do believe they are going to travel. When the food sources become low, they're going to travel with a food good. If the squatches are feeding off a off a deer, like a lot of us do believe that they do. If the deer are moving, the squatches are going to move. I, I think it's safe to say that yes, they do travel throughout the seasons, based off of food, temperature, et cetera, et cetera. So, then we have other questions popping up, which is awesome. Do you feel that Bigfoot are telepathic to humans? Well, I'll let you take a whack at this, Zach.
No,
So now I've had other people. I'm going to agree with Zach. I don't believe so. However, I have heard other people believe that they believe that the Squatches have said something to them. You know,
Personally, I don't believe, but scientifically and in my opinion, no. But
yeah,
in the world of Bigfoot, because it's not an official species, anything's possible.
right, right.
There's a lot of weird shit in this world.
Now, in my opinion, when people say, especially during their face-to-face encounters, where they're in the moment and they get the sense where they're about to make a move, but they feel like they're being told not to do something. You know what I think is going on there. That phenomenon right there. I think what's going on. There is instinct that is taking over. There is a sense of one of your senses are trying to interact with the other. They're trying to figure out what to do. So I personally don't believe Bigfoot's trying to tell you, don't pull that camera out. Don't do that. You know, because again, if you're experiencing or you're in that moment, you don't know how to react because you're face to face with a fairly a large, strong, massive animal, or creature, a subject, whatever how you want to address it, and you're actually kind of, I will say this, most likely you're feeling pretty intimidated. See, you don't know the reaction of what's going to happen, but think about it. A majority of reports and the stories, a lot of times the Bigfoot is usually curious. They're checking you out. And meanwhile, what usually happens? They usually disappear. They end up going the other way. Bears do the same thing. A lot of times, bears won't really hang around. They usually disappear. Um, but yeah, that's how I feel about it, to be honest. So,
Well,
um,
out of the two of us, I'm the only one that's seen one clear enough face to face, even in the
yeah.
daytime. I'm the only one out of you and me. I've seen them face to face before and up close.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you from experience, first time I saw one, I was scared to death. And I had a shotgun. And yeah, the first time I saw one, 2015, and I had a shotgun with a slug in it. And I was still scared to death.
Mm.
It's a wave of emotions that hit you whenever you experience these creatures up close and you interact with them up close. You're watching their every move. You're petrified. You can't move.
I agree. I'll tell you. Have you ever heard Tracy Arnold's encounter?
I keep hearing about it, but I never can find it.
Well, I'll have to share it to you. He's been on other radio shows. He's been interviewed. We've had him on our show before, and it took place right here in Virginia. I want to say it's been about 3 years now, if I'm estimating correctly. But he was 24 feet away from what he saw, and I think from the way he described his sighting, I think he was just as shocked as what the Squatch was, because I think the Squatch was caught off guard. From what he saw, the Squatch didn't give no facial expressions. It just, it was just, it wasn't standing there. He said the way he described it, it was kind of crouched down, but it was on one knee, while the arms are hanging down beside it, staring dead at him. Tracy probably stood there for so many seconds, just staring at it. They had their eyes locked on each other. And the way he described it, and what I felt out of the story, like the Squatch was like, "Holy shit, I'm caught." you know. So yeah, okay. Yowie Down Under is very familiar with Tracy's encounter. Yeah, he just mentioned it. He said Tracy's encounter is a good one. Yeah, Tracy. For those who don't know, by the way, Tracy Arnold is the co-founder of the ECBRO. He's also the founder of the New River Valley Bigfoot Research Organization. He's approximately 3 hours south of me, and I tell you what, I've been in. He's taken me down in his research area, very squatchy. But right in his main research area, that's not where he had his sighting. His sighting happened probably about an hour west of his research area, and it was an area he went to go check out. He had some time on his hands. There's an area he's been wanting to check out for a while. He was going down this path, and somewhere down there, he learned or heard about there was a waterfall, and he was trying to follow, going to check out this area. But when he fell into this area, he said he got this feeling all of a sudden. It came over him. He felt like there was something wrong. There was something in the this eerie feeling came over him, and when he turned around, that's where they locked eyes on each other. And it was a very incredible story. I was fascinated about it. I was excited about it, and you know, and it's awesome though. But again, my biggest thing is even though we feel that intimidation, that fright, the scare, whatever how you want to put it, I do believe these creatures they when they do come across us, when we do have encounters, when they notice us noticing them, it's like we sense that they're curious. That's the way I feel about it. I sense that these are curious creatures, especially from our encounter back in 2014. I believe they were just curious about us. They didn't show or pose no threat whatsoever. However, you could tell on the most part, a couple of them were trying to stay still, but they weren't staying still. The youngest one was swaying side to side. The tallest out of the three, he kept moving. He stepped a little bit, turned his head, and looked back at us. The one in the middle, which we believe may have been a female, we can't say for sure because we didn't have that detail, but we believe what we encountered was a family unit, and because there was a juvenile involved, most definitely. Now, yeah, like I said, we didn't feel threatened at them at all. Yeah, to me, we honestly feel that they were just very, very curious. We were excited. It was crazy, but we really enjoyed it. We enjoyed that experience. So
I've encountered three, and I told this on Monster X Radio. I've told it on Ninja of the Woods. I've been close enough to three of them at the same time. One time a couple years ago, that I was able to definitively tell what sex they was
hmm, that's pretty good.
because I know that's something taboo in the Bigfoot world. You're not supposed to talk about the reproduction process, the sexuality of Bigfoot, and everything. But I saw a male and two females together up close, and the two females were sitting down up against a hay bale, and the male was standing up.
Hmm.
And I know it was a male because I was standing right there about 30 foot from him, and I could see the genitalia on it. And I could see the two females had breasts.
Yeah, I think yeah, something like that you can't deny that. If it's obvious, you know.
And evidently, I think uh, I interrupted the reproduction process, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Yowie Down Under said I've had two. He's had two encounters, and he said they were both males. Let me back up real quick because one of the things he mentioned just a little while ago, talking about down his way, he said they mimic perfectly well in Aussie land. He mentions barks, chirps, whistles, howls, and excellent mimics like birds, dingoes, emu, and kangaroo calls. That's gonna be some exciting stuff to hear that. You know, I get excited hearing wildlife. Period. Because one of the main things that are very active in my research area is the barred owl. Barred owls are very common. We got barred owls. I've heard bobcats scream out there. Crazy, man. That will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. A
That and make
bobcat
something
scream
run
is
down your
crazy.
leg too.
What's that?
That and make something run down your leg too.
Yeah, yeah. It when I heard this has been shoot. Let me see. This has been about 9. Yeah, when I first heard a bobcat scream, this is down in my research area. This was actually about 9 years ago. I was camping, and at this particular time, I wasn't bigfooting. I was just camping, But I'm well aware of my surroundings. I'm always listening for something anyway. It caught me off guard. It really did. It caught me off guard, and again, I was not expecting it whatsoever. But man, you get the scream that I heard must have been just so many yards away. It was very close, but it was piercing. It had my heart thumping. but so
I've been in the woods before at night, and this is before I actually bought my first digital recorder. And I was just out there on a night investigation, and I heard
yep. Oh
scared
yeah.
the shit out of me.
Hmm. That sounds familiar. Let me see if I can pull something up real quick. The way you imitated that. Oh man, I think I deleted the app. I'm gonna have to download that stupid app. I have my SoundCloud app here let me pull. I can still pull it up though. See if I can play that for everybody. I played it. You might. I'm pretty sure you've heard this before.
I could have, and I'd probably already forgot.
Yeah. All right.
Of course, I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on.
All right. See if it pulls that up here for me. Uh, uh, all right, hold on one second. Here we go. Let me see. Give me a second. It's pulling up. It's just taking a little while. Oh, it's not. Oh, come on. It's not letting me pull it up. Oh, because the rest of it's still buffering. Yeah, if it pops up, I'll be able to play it. I have coyotes I can play. Here's some coyotes.
Oh yeah, those coyote bark.
Yeah, let me see if I could. Trying to find my other ones on here. Got barred owls. Let's see what else I got. Hold on, it's coming up. Oh, come on, go. Oh, it won't let me go past a certain certain thing here. It's not letting me. The one I want to play for everybody, it's not letting me do it. Oh well, I'll have to try it again later. But it's all good. All right. Let me come back and pull up my live chat again here. Okay. Let me see here. Donald Trussell said Screech Owls are creepy. And then Yowie Down Under said, is asking any places to visit in Virginia, bud. I'm traveling the U.S. next year in July, August, and September. I've got Maine, Mississippi, California, and Nebraska on my list so far. Well, I'll tell you what, Yowie. By that time next year, well, right now we got our ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference going on this year, June 30th and July 1st. However, around that time next year, most likely will be our second annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference for the ECBRO. Because our 2-day event is followed by a week long of camping. I would definitely recommend visiting the George Washington National Forest. Perhaps if you get up this way, would definitely I would definitely love to meet up with you. I'll be glad to take you out. I can show you a few different places. So yeah, right here in the Shenandoah Valley. Come up to the Shenandoah Valley here in Virginia, and I'll be glad to meet up with you and show you a few places. So meeting up with Bigfoot channel owners for those states. Oh, very cool. So yeah, if you want to meet up here in Virginia, I'll be glad to give you a tour. And
Hey,
ladies and
Baltimore.
gentlemen, we have Mr. Baltimore Galvon Jr. joining us. How you doing, Baltimore?
Doing good yourself?
Well, not bad, not bad. We've been in some discussion here and there, and Zach sharing a few stories, and we've had some questions on the live chat coming from the land down under, from Mr. Yowie down under from Australia. So
Cool.
it's been pretty good.
Great.
So he said he's hiring a camper truck. Well, very cool, very cool. So Baltimore, anything new with you? Have you been able to get out and do any Bigfooting recently?
No, not really. I just been very busy week, and
Oh,
we're going. We're going to be doing a program, and it got me all tied up.
I got you. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Between the weather and me being busy, I haven't been able to get out much either. Especially overall. I mean, I'm pretty much well settled in my new place. It's just I just been finding myself being very exhausted. When I do have time. If it works out tomorrow, hopefully I can get out tomorrow. There's no promises, but I have trail cameras I've been wanting to go pick up. It's been going on 3 weeks now, so hopefully I can get out tomorrow and see if I could check them out, see if there's anything good on them. But I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Right.
So yeah, one of the areas where the trail camera, my one trail camera is right off of a trail, is in a very thick area overlooking part of a trail where there's been some activity in the past there. There's been some crazy stuff that's happened there, not just with me, but with others. So hopefully my camera is hidden well enough to make, and it's also got a clear view of anything that might cross by. Um, the one thing, if anything, I might get people passing by. I don't know if anyone's been up there hiking recently. I could get people on there, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. So, yeah. Um, let's see. I don't know. Uh, Zach or anything? You guys have anything you want to share? We were actually getting ready to kind of somewhat come to a close before long.
Been working on a case with Cryptid CSI.
Yeah, Zach, tell us a little bit about the CSI again, and exactly what you got going on with Cryptid CSI.
Well, it's a new team that I put together with a bunch of researchers from all across the country. Of course, I brought you and Baltimore Tracy Arnold, Fred Caney, Matt Delph, uh, Jimmy Blanton, Stacy Coughlin from Louisiana. Brought a couple people in from Illinois, and Rich Daniels from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And basically, what we do is we investigate. It's just cryptid crime scene investigators. We investigate. We get reports of unusual and bizarre kills and attacks that people believe are cryptid related, and we just take it from there and see what we try and dig up.
What about this? Your first investigation. What is there anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, we've been researching that now for almost a week now. Stacy Coughlin got the report for us, and we've talked with the people that are in that the case is revolving around. They're out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and back in November they had this husky that just turned up missing one night, and the dog was known never to leave the yard really or go a quarter mile down the road, and they turned the dog out one day and it never come home.
Mm.
And Rich Daniels has already been in touch with the pet owners. I've got people on the team that's been researching uh, any and all cryptid reports. It doesn't have to be just Bigfoot. It could be Dogman, Mothman, anything within 50-mile radius of Grand Rapids, Michigan that have been reported. And we've got people that has uh, looking into news reports, other news reports of similar disappearances of pets. We've I've had Baltimore looking into it. If there was any kind of uh, tribes that was around in Michigan that have had any kind of similar uh, reports that they or encounters that they've had in the past in their history of stuff like that of encounters with any kind of cryptids that would be in that area that would be trifling with their domesticated pets and stuff like that. And we've been digging a lot into it. I've had Stacy Coughlin. He drew up a map and had it Dawson and stuff like that, and give us a layout of the area and the surrounding area around this little home area that had the dog lived on. And right now we're at a standstill, but we're still doing research on it.
Well, I'll tell you what. There is a report from here in Virginia. I will I will locate it and I will share it to you. You need to check this out. This is about 4 or 5 years ago. I was contacted by a real good friend of mine. I went to school with this girl, and this is regarding her uncle's property. Her uncle, I used to work. Well, he wasn't my boss, but the guy I worked for worked with him. They were partners in doing what they did. We used to do masonry work, and I was the one guy's laborer. So I knew this guy very well because I worked with him. So now where he's located in the county of Louisa here in the state of Virginia. Um, he went to go check on his dogs. He's got two dogs. Well, he had two dogs. Now, keep in mind, these dogs were chained up, and their chains were connected to spikes that went into the ground. When he went to go check on his dogs, I guess to feed them or do whatever he did, his daily check on them, he noticed the dogs were missing. Not just the dogs, but the chains, the spikes, everything that were pulled out of the ground, and dogs were completely gone. And the one thing, he called the police and everything, because what he found on his property, going from there's a pond or something he has on his property, and going across the field in his property, they have a trackway, a whole trackway that was discovered on their property of bear tracks. When I say bear, BARE tracks of humanoid tracks going across the whole field. And here's his dogs were missing. totally gone. Um, Now, after learning about this situation, because my friend Missy, she contacted me knowing that I would be interested in this, but what little did she know that it was already being, investigated. Somehow, somebody got a hold of um, the one group in Northern Virginia known as the Sasquatch Watch of Virginia. However, they got permission to investigate this, and they're the ones who did the report on this, which kind of sucks because I was all for it. She didn't know that they had already intercepted on this, and so it was a disappointment. However, even though I was contacted by her about this situation, um, you know, she has gone to the property. She took a couple pictures, you know, herself, because they made some casts of the tracks that were found. Very impressive looking tracks. But again, the whole thing boils down to the dogs were missing. They didn't know if it was a hoax or somebody messing with them, whatever. But this county, it has reports surrounding it, mainly around the lake. The lake is a humongous lake. Look up Lake Anna in the county of Louisa. Again, that's Lake Anna. They have a major resort there. It's surrounded by forests and woods. Lake Anna is just on the other side of the mountains. It's approximately about an hour east of where I live, right here in the valley. There's been Bigfoot reports in Louisa and surrounding areas, Spotsylvania, all the way up to Culpeper. So Virginia's got a lot of Squatchy reports, a lot of Bigfoot sightings in surrounding areas, not just here in the valley, but Bigfoot sightings cover a large portion here in Virginia. But this report was approximately about, like I said, about 4 or 5 years ago. And again, I'll be glad to gather that information, let you check into that, Zach.
Oh, sure. Send it my way.
Hey, I
Yeah.
got something to say about dogs been missing and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, they. I mean, like you were saying, dogs getting the chains being pulled out from the ground and stuff like that, and you all finding tracks. You
Yeah.
know, so that's basically it's a Bigfoot for sure. But there's sometimes also too is that especially down here in South Texas, we cannot. Coyotes are very very. There's tons of them here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
so for us down here, we actually had a lady that actually had like 7 dogs, and out of those 7 dogs, she only had one remaining. And then we were thinking about what could it possibly be, and then Bigfoot does attack does eat dogs. I'm pretty sure that we know that for sure. But also too, you have to figure out that coyotes also attack dogs.
Yes.
And then also you have your cougars or your mountain lions or whatever you want to call them as well, also attack dogs. But the thing is, if a dog had been missing like that, it could be a lot of possibilities. What possibly could have killed them, or maybe even got into somebody's field and actually got shot, and no dogs left to be found.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. But once you find footprints or anything like that and relating to a kill, it makes the story, very, very believable.
Oh, yeah.
That a squash actually has killed it.
Most definitely.
Even Yeah, even like cattle down here. There's sometimes that a lot of cattle. I've seen a lot of dead cattle around here. Where there's some times where when the cattle are sick, the not even the buzzers get close to them. But again, it's just learning about the kills that basically makes it a little bit more interesting.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
so
Well, yeah, this county where this report took place, I can confirm for a fact that coyotes are well known in the area, most definitely. And I know they are known to, of course, we know that it happens other places, that they interbreed with domestic, and then you got your coy dogs. Because I know the same girl that shared this information with me about her uncle's property. Um, she sent me a picture of one of her friends. They got a dog. Well, it's a coy dog, and it's the ugliest thing. But there's no denying that it's got coyote in it. It was a coyote and domestic dog breed, and so yeah, they do interact with domestic dogs, and the other little bit of information, if I'm not mistaken, if I do remember correctly, these dogs that did end up missing were also hunting dogs. So they were some kind of hounds, from what I
Wow.
gather. Yeah, which to me kind of makes it a little bit more interesting as well. Now I could be wrong, but I believe that's what it was. I'll have to double check when I look up the report. I'll make sure I definitely share it. I'll share it to you and Zach as well. So let you guys kind of go through, see what the information they put into the report. Um, but again, that was by the Sasquatch Watch of Virginia. It was the Louisa County report. In So I'll see what I can find out about that. I've had it a long time ago, but I'm sure it's probably wouldn't be hard to find unless it got removed, because the Sasquatch Watch of Virginia no longer investigates. No, they no longer. I think they have a few members that may independently do stuff, but however, they're the ones that they were the ones that were formally putting on the Virginia Bigfoot Conference the last 2 years, which they are officially retired and are no longer doing that. Um, so, um, but yeah, as far as the report goes, like I said, I'll definitely try to find it. Actually, you know what? While we're doing it, let me see if I can find it. I'm looking on my phone right now.
Hey, I got a question for Zach.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Hey, Zach, you were showing photos of a dead cow that y'all found out there. Can you give me a? I was reading a little bit about it. It was to me, it didn't make any sense. Can you let me know what exactly what was going on with it?
What What do you mean? What was going on with it? The health
Yeah, you,
wise?
huh? Yeah, yeah. What you find evidence dealing with that dead cow?
Well, here's the thing though. Whenever this cow was killed, she was perfectly healthy. We vaccinated her for pink eye and all, just basically give her yearly vaccination that we do every year, and she was healthy. She was healthy as could be. And then just the next day, she just turned up dead.
Okay. Was it a Hereford or what kind of breed of cow was it?
Black Angus with Hereford mix.
Black Angus Hereford mix. Alrighty. How? Any idea how old it was?
She was about 3 or 4 years old.
Okay. And when y'all found her, can you give me a little bit more details on that?
Well, right where the boneyard is, that I call it, is where all the cattle always end up turning up dead. They go right to this stretch of creek is where we always find them at, and they're always found and their necks are broke. But there's no claw marks, there's no bite marks at all. It's just no mutilation to it whatsoever. It's just broke neck,
It was what now?
just a broken neck.
Broken neck.
There was no claw marks, no bite marks, no slashes in the hide at all. It was just a broken neck.
Wow. Yeah, because there's sometimes also too comes to mind is that if it's a broken neck, why would something break its neck if it wasn't going to feed on it? Um,
Right.
that's you sometimes you got to think outside the box and really look at it. So tell me something about the neck. How did y'all determine that it was a broken neck?
Well, I examined her myself.
You did?
Went and I picked her head up like this, and I ran my fingers. I did my fingers up like that, and I
Hmm.
ran my fingers down her neck bone until they come together halfway between the base of the skull and the shoulders, and it was just
Okay.
completely broke.
Wow.
And it was
Wow.
just mush.
Yeah, because I found some kills where I couldn't understand them. where I actually did an autopsy on some dead goats. Well, there was actually some goats that were actually still alive on it. Where I actually found a hole right behind the armpit, and this goat was still alive. And so I didn't have any gun to shoot it, so I had to take matters into my own hands. And and then after that, I did my own autopsy on it, and I found out that it had very little blood on it, and parts to the liver and parts to the heart was actually eaten out a bit. And that was the most unusual kill that I ever seen when it comes to livestock.
Hmm.
And it gets you thinking, because we actually down here in South Texas we actually had a lot of reports about chupacabras and everything. To me that was the perfect a perfect victim of a chupacabra than I ever seen. I
Wow.
actually had a few others that actually died the same way. Uh, but um, but again, it's farmers basically get their rifles or their guns to kill something like this. But these certain animals, or well, I call them an animal now because I really don't know what they are. But it was but it like I said, the way it leaves its victims is totally fascinating.
Because that was one reason that I started cryptid crime scene investigators is because I know for a fact that here in Southern Illinois we do have chupacabras. I've seen two of them in my lifetime. I saw one actually back in October, and I pulled my camera out and I got the ass end of it. It was running back into a thicket, and I chased after it in my truck, and then um, I want to say around Easter of this last year, one of my neighbors posted a picture on Facebook, and they said this is exactly what my husband and my son saw. And I contacted the son while the parents were away. They were going across country to go to the Grand Canyon, and I said, Kenny, I want to talk to you. And he says, okay. I said, I'm on my way to your place, and I drove down the road about 2.5 miles, 3 miles, and he showed me how far away it was, where they was sitting. They were sitting right next to their fire ring that was out there on their back patio. And about maybe 50 yards away, he said this thing come down off the hill, crossed the creek, and it was walking right along the deer path, and it had nose to the ground. And then whenever it crossed over the road, he said that him and his dad knew right away that it wasn't no coyote. He said the color of the skin was gray like elephant hide, and the thing kept looking back at him as it was going, and then it went across the road, went up a bank and into the cornfield.
Okay. See, down out here, I lived in ranches all my life, and I experienced a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things, and I see some stuff um, that can be explained. Because the thing is dealing with these chupacabras that people are seeing is that a lot of them are coyotes that have the mange real bad. Because I've seen a lot of evidence like that people actually found these creatures like that, even raccoons and even bears that have a bad skin disease, and people are calling them different types of creatures and things like that. But they're only a skin disease that they actually do have. The way that you would know that is actually a chupacabra was, I believe that Bob, I forgot that guy's name. He's on your show. I'm pretty sure he's on it right now listening. That actually had a picture of a chupacabra on there. And dealing with that is that there was actually a man that actually killed one in Poteet, Texas. And so he called the authorities and everything like that. And he didn't know what to do with it. So, and then a few days later, somebody uh, well, put it this way: somebody picked it up, and actually threatened him and said not to come up to the American news and let nobody know about this certain creature that they found. Yeah, about this creature that he found. And so he goes, do not put it in the American news at all. So he was basically threatened, and they actually picked up the creature and took it. And and then so what he did was he actually put it in the Mexican news and reported it there, and actually had the same picture of that little creature that he actually did shoot. And and it was ironic about the dealing with these coyotes that have been killing the people that actually been killed at. And if it was something significant dealing with that, somebody else would have picked it up already and actually said, hey, don't tell anybody about what you actually have. So that's a big difference, if that makes any sense.
See, I investigated a, a reported chupacabra kill about 7, almost 8 years ago. My neighbors, Christy and Rusty Baker, had about, I think my grandfather said, about 20 to 30 goats, and all but 2 or 5 of them was killed in one night. They all had right here in the jugular, they had fang marks, just 3 punctures, triangular shape, in the jugular, and all the blood was drawn out of them. But the funny thing is, none of the meat was touched, and they all the goats were laying in a pile over in the corner of the pen.
Okay, let me ask you something, Zach. Um, did the animals that I saw right behind the head, right behind the head, there was actually punctured wounds right behind the head, like if something was actually injected into the spinal cord that actually paralyzed the animal. Did you see anything like that?
No, it was just the 3 puncture marks right in the jugular vein.
Okay.
And I encountered a chupacabra one time. When was it? Back in 2007. I was out rabbit hunting, and I was sitting up on a hillside, resting my legs while I was out hunting. And I don't use hunting dogs whenever I rabbit hunt. I usually just go straight for the kill. I try to flush them out of their holes or the thickets they're in. And I looked down in the valley along where this straightaway is, and the thing was out walking in the straightaway in the clearing there. And I carried a pair of binoculars with me because I liked to bird watch whenever I was younger. And I pulled it out, and that thing was just tooling along out there in the clearing. But you were talking about how to tell the corpse of a chupacabra from a mangy dog or a coyote or a wolf. Phyllis Canyon of Cuero, Texas, uh, found one and she had it stuffed. And I was watching this documentary and they showed on the hindquarters of the chupacabra that was stuffed, there's like little growths on the hindquarters, like pads about big around as a silver dollar. And then with she said it left a 3-toed footprint, and she turned the thing over, and the toe pads, the middle two, are fused together like that.
And also, too, I believe that they did DNA samples on that creature, didn't they?
Ken Gerhard did.
And what they find.
I can't tell you. I don't remember.
Okay, because I've actually because a lot of that has been more or less found to be like a coyote DNA samples and everything like that. They actually found a whole bunch of them samples like that. There was a big report about it, um, dealing with the kills like that. I mean, dealing with these two things on each side of the hip. There's even big dogs like that that actually has them as well. We just can't. We just can't. Again, we have to be. I've always believed in facts. That's one thing that I always believed in. We have to make sure that we know what we're talking about. Because the thing is, again, it's like, one person could come up there and just tell us that we are not truthful about certain information, especially the public out there, because the work that we're doing is very, 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 very important. One false information, would say, well, basically, one false information can really jeopardize, what we do. That's why me personally, I have people, that help me out. I listen to you all. I listen to Daniel. I listen to a whole bunch of people. Michael Cook. I listen to a bunch of people and listen to their stories, and tell just sit down there and talk about it. Even talk to some scientists and everything, and making sure that we get the right information out there. Because there's a whole bunch of people out here that actually are seeing something, and they just don't know how to report it. So that's why we have to be 100% sure exactly what we're talking about. Does that make any
Right.
sense?
Right. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Um, and then my most recent encounter with a chupacabra was back in October while my grandparents, I was house sitting for my grandparents, so I was taking care of the farm, and they was over in Montana and Wyoming, and I was out driving around. I was checking the fences, and not only that, our neighbor is or the neighboring property. A friend of ours that lives up about 30 miles away in West Frankfort. He owns some ground down here, and we watch the ground because he houses machinery on it, and he does it and farms it throughout the year. I drove up there to make sure nobody had been down there tampering with his tractor or his bulldozer or had stole some of his cultivating equipment or his bush hogs. And I drove up in the field and I crested the hill, and there was one standing out there by his furrow plow, and it stopped. It come walking out right as I pulled in, and it stood there and looked at me, and I sat there and watched, and I locked eyes with it, and it looked straight me in the eye, and I was about maybe 50 feet away, and I pulled up my truck because it was starting to roll back, and I hit the gas a little bit. My truck jolted forward, and it took off a running, and it started running towards the tree line. Well, I kicked my phone on, and I started filming that thing as it was running away, and I stopped about 30 feet away from it. Whenever it stopped at the tree line, it looked back at me, and I started coming up closer to where I could get a better picture of it on the video, and it turned around and it ran right into the trees.
Hmm. All right.
See, because out here, we got, even if the creeks run dry out here in the summer during a drought, there is 10 farm ponds out here within a mile and a half, 2 miles of my house in a 2.5 mile radius. There's plenty of chickens, there's peacocks, there's cattle, there's hogs, there's dogs and cats that get dropped out here all the time. There, it's plenty of food, plenty of cover. Some of these places I think that they find sanctuary in is out here where the old Amax coal mine and Brushy Creek coal mine that was ran by Western Fuels for 30 years, that's all blocked off to the public and it's private land. They'll go and they'll use that. I guess they have like a sense to them where they'll actually go and use those blocked off in those restricted areas as a sort of sanctuary.
Yeah. Like for me here is the sanctuaries that are down here are basically the creek bottoms, because the creeks are very important, especially when you do a lot of Bigfoot investigations and everything like that. Which I'm going to start really, really get into it pretty. But again, it's I don't want to. When I get into it, when I go back into the creeks and everything like that, I want to get a little bit um, um more into the scientific thing, I believe. because deep in the creeks, I mean, there's areas where it's so deep, it's like 2 or 3 stories deep. And if anything's going to be found there, it's going to be found there deep in the creeks where it's so dark, where the grapevines canopy the trees where it's so dark. And if anything's going to be found there, it's going to be down there for me. But to me, the terrain is very important. Water supply is very important. Leaving an area and going back to a place where these creatures are basically feel safe at. That's the most important thing, because cover is really important. Because the thing is if something because something big would go to a place where it's safe at, and because nobody's going to follow them deep into the creeks. Because even a lot of stories about the Bigfoot encounters have always happened in the creeks. So to me that's the most important thing. If I'm going to find anything of any type of significance, it's going to be found way deep in the creeks.
Yeah, to me that makes sense.
See, and it comes up dealing again with the vocalizations and everything like that. Because vocalizations to me is very important. Because the thing is, again, we know what owls sound like. We know what coyotes sound like. We know even down here in South Texas, even the jaguars are starting to come in, and they used to be extinct a long time ago. And the thing is, we don't know the sounds that the jaguar actually makes, or how far north it would go. One of them actually got hit by a car a few years ago, and the game warden went up there and picked it up. But they are around here, and again, we don't know the sounds that they make. So again, we have to be that much again knowing what the sounds are in nature in order for us to determine exactly what's going on out there.
Hmm. Yeah, I just want to give you guys a heads up. There's something I've been trying to look for. It's funny. The report I told you guys about. I'm gonna keep doing some more digging. I can't find nothing. It's everything I try to look up that related to it. It seems like it does not exist right now. A lot of information regarding those who investigate it, they do have information. Their database is actually limited to old stuff. It's only like about 5 or 6 things on there. It's nothing in their database that's related to that at all. So I don't know what's going on with that. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if there was a reason why they maybe you know got rid of that.
Hey
But I
Daniel,
am
I'm
going.
gonna go ahead and get off real quick. I got a big event going on tomorrow, and I definitely
Oh
need to
yes,
participate. So
yeah, that's right.
yeah, it was good talking to everybody. And Daniel, did you see that structure I made?
Um. Oh yeah, yeah. You sent it to my. You texted it directly to my phone. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that house right down there. We would actually put brush around it, and we would actually sleep in it, and or we would actually put hides around it. And so it's a very simple structure. Probably could be made in less than 20, 30 minutes. It's a real easy structure to build. So I just wanted
Nice.
I wanted for you to see that, because how easy it is to make a structure like that. Just just your simple branches.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have experimented and tried different things, and I've actually done it for to see, mainly for the purpose of trying to see if there was any interaction.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty interesting. So
Well, all right, Daniel, and good night, everybody. So hope everybody has a good night. Tomorrow I got a big day.
absolutely, you have a good night, man. Thank you for coming on. It was
No problem.
awesome.
All right,
So
nice talking to everybody.
all right, Baltimore.
Bye bye.
And yeah, for those watching, this is my Facebook event page. This is something I wanted to pull up, show you how to find it. Right here in the top left hand corner, if you go to the search bar, this is exactly all you have to do is enter into ECBRO, First Angel Virginia Bigfoot Conference. Right here on this event page, you'll find all the bits of information that you need to know. We do have some information that will be updated in the near future. Mr. Baltimore Gavon Jr., as you've seen right here. Here he is, featured right here. He is a Beeville County, Texas resident. And this magazine, if you're wondering, this is where our first bit of our public event advertising will be placed. Again, if you find this page, browse through it. You'll find all the information you need. Anything you don't know, you can email me or text me, message me directly. We got all kinds of awesome information here. Our 2-day event is followed by a week-long Bigfoot expedition. The camping is free. The whole event is free. The whole camping event is free. The conference, however, if you see right here where the mouse is, there is a book now. There is a listing of tickets there. It'll take you to our Eventbrite website. So I just wanted to share that for everybody. This is how you do it. You can find us directly right here. And look at that. I got Zach messaging me, as you see right there. You're a wise guy. So yeah, you can find Zach on Facebook too. So he just popped up right there for you guys. So he's being a wisecracker. So,
I got
all right, let me see. Come back to here. All right. Is it all right? It's not showing no more, is it? Or is it still showing?
All I'm seeing is an ugly face.
Okay. All right, there we go. So there, I just want to make sure everybody show you how easy it is to find the ECBRO First Annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference, our event page that I just showed you right there on Facebook. So go there, check it out. There'll be some updated information very soon, mainly regarding speakers. I am waiting on confirmation on more information. I wish I could share, but without it being confirmed, without it being in stone, there's only so much I could do. Right now, fingers are crossed. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, I love to see you guys out there. Spread the word. Share our information. Share our YouTube page. Share our videos. Share our event page. That's much appreciated. Any little bit of help you could do by sharing our information to help spread awareness. Your support is very much and highly appreciated. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting our organization, our event, what we're working towards, as far as sharing information to the public, educating people, both through wildlife and the world of cryptozoology. As you see here on our shows here, our open discussions, we're very laid back. We're not all high and uptight. We're not self-claimed experts. We're experienced individuals who get it out in the field, boots on the ground. Some of us, we also do a lot of research and studies out of the field as well, to get a better learning and understanding of nature in general, basic biology. Some of us do a lot of research in zoology, primatology, and so forth. So anywhere in the near future, if you guys have questions, again, I'll be glad to answer you. We may be going live again tomorrow evening. Zach, would you be up for that?
Bring it on.
Very awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're around tomorrow evening, be on the lookout. We will be live, approximately starting around the same time, about 10 p.m. For another open discussion. Tomorrow we may have more on the panel, very possible. So till then, you guys have a squatchy night, and if you have not done so, subscribe here and tell your friends, family about it. Share our information, give us a like, and help spread the awareness. It's much appreciated, and thank you guys very much. God bless. Well, till next time.